I'm John Kovach. I've been a newsman, a sports announcer, and a football coach, but the one constant, since I was old enough to stand next to a stream with my dad, has been fishing. I've waded rapids, stood on slick rocks, hacked through ice, and been tossed about the deck of a boat. And I want you to love fishing as much as I do, and join me on this journey. Welcome to Yankee Fisherman, presented by the Dock Shop. Good afternoon, everybody. It's Thursday, June 1st. Welcome to Yankee Fisherman, presented by the Dock Shop. Not in our usual location, not in a location we usually would be. We are live at Fairchild Wheeler Golf Club in Fairfield, right at the Fairfield-Bridgeport line, as the HAN Network brings you live coverage of the FCAC Girls and Boys Golf Championships. We will be back to that shortly, but right now we're going to give you a half hour on fishing as we do every week. I had a great weekend. We're going to have video of that next week. Nice shad trip up to Massachusetts. Had a blast with the guys there. And we literally, about a minute before we came on the air, got news out of the upper Delaware. There's been a tremendous amount of fear that there would be increased draw that would severely hurt the river and the ecosystem in that a very important trout area. This just coming out from Friends of the Upper Delaware River in the past few minutes, that the states of Delaware, New York, Pennsylvania, and New York City have today announced an agreement to continue sustainable water management. They've agreed to keep the flows to a level where we don't have to worry about the fishery being threatened. That huge news, welcome news. We'll keep an eye on that and update you on that as that story unfolds. Seeing as we're in Bridgeport today, I thought we'd kind of go with a theme show and maybe revisit a few things that we had talked about in the past. And one of the programs we've talked about a lot is Trout in the Classroom, Trout Unlimited. And not long ago, I had the pleasure of being at a Trout in the Classroom release for Connecticut Beardsley Zoo, where they let trout go in the Pequannock River, which really was not a viable river all that long ago. And now they're letting brook trout loose in it. Let's go back to that time when we saw the kids at Connecticut's Beardsley Zoo let free the trout that they had raised since they were eggs.
We're going to be releasing some native brook trout, Salvelinus fontinalis, which we have raised for about a year. And they're really beautiful. A number of them are in spawning colors. And it was kind of a challenge to scoop them up, right? It took us a little while to grab them all. And we're going to be releasing them in this stream, the Pequannock River, which is a beautiful stream that runs through Monroe, Trumbull, and Bridgeport. And this stream is an urban stream, but we have a lot of wildlife that's coming back. We have eels, we have otters, ospreys, and alewives and trout. Some of these trout actually, we've seen them go out to the sound, or at least use a fish ladder, so they could possibly go out to the sound. Surely they go out to the estuaries.
Well, guys, you have fun?
Yes.
Yeah. You guys learn something about the river?
Yes.
You think the river's dirty or clean? Clean. Right. Would you think that the river should be clean?
Yes.
Why do because right now this is what's important. But this is having this in our backyard, is really important. Because this is, as John said, right now we have lots and lots of things that are going on in the river. Where 20 years ago, right, we didn't have many fish in the river. We didn't have many things living in the river. Now you can come over here and see, like you said, the otters in here. You can see black-crowned night heron living in the trees. Did John show you the osprey nest box?
Yeah. Oh no!
So we put up an osprey. We put up an osprey nest this year. So next year you come back into the park, take a look at that pole that's down by the river. Hopefully you'll see a nest up there, and we'll have osprey with babies in it. That'll be really cool. However, they'll be going after your fish you're putting in. So it's called the circle of life, right?
That's right.
So we're really excited. I hope you guys learned something. Oh, did you have fun? Was it a fun program?
Yes.
Right? Well, that's really all. That's what's important. To have a fun time doing this. So what we're going to do, John, I guess, is going to set you up, and let's get these guys into the river and let them do what they got to do, right?
Yep.
Mr. John, can we go again?
If you've already put your hand on top and quickly go and release it.
What message that the zoo tries to get out do these TIC programs help reinforce?
Well, TIC, working with the zoo, this is a tremendous program for us. And the reason it's such a tremendous program is that we look at the zoo, when you ask people what the zoo is all about, you know, a lot of people will say recreation, you go to the zoo to have a good time. That's very true. However, conservation and environment is a huge portion of what we do at the zoo. But some people don't really understand that it's not just working with endangered species like our tigers and our amber leopards, which are critically endangered, but it also means that we have to be concerned about our own backyard. And this type of program, working with TIC, working with DEEP, working with the zoo, working with the kids at Park City Prep to understand the conservation and environmental issues that we have and the importance of the environment for their area, it all brings it together. So if you look at programs like this, I almost feel this is one of the most important things that we do at the zoo.
Now, this river's come a long way in the last few decades where you wouldn't have thought of seeing a trout in here, let alone releasing one into this. What's responsible for that cleanup?
Well, you look at the Pequannock River, and 20 years ago, you wouldn't even think of it as a fishing pond. You would think more of it as a body of water that's moving through. Pollution coming through here, and most of it pesticides coming from upriver. However, over in the past 20 years, people have really started to understand about the relationship between the environment and what their own well-being. So we've also started what we call the Pequannock River Initiative a few years ago, starting to work with the different areas of the towns that actually impact the river, getting the message out, and we've seen a tremendous increase or decrease in pollution in the river, and an increase in awareness of the river, and working within these towns, working as a regional program, it's really been wonderful. We've seen the river go again. We're having trout in here. The char they're being putting in right now have been extinct in the Connecticut River system. However, DEEP has found that there's actually been ones that we've released that they found in here that have now lived for more than 1 or 2 or 3 years. So that bodes well for the health of the river. I think it's getting better and better all the time. In fact, one of the things is a little story is that we saw a lot of green algae in the river a few years ago, or last year, and somebody was very concerned about the green algae. It looked like, well, what's going on? Is the nitrogen levels going up too high? Does that mean fertilizer is being put in? Well, it turns out, we had people come to look at it, turns out that green algae was showing the health of the river. That it actually was a tremendously healthy river, and they were shocked at that. So I think right now the river is doing really well, but really the most important thing is these children here. These are the ones that are going to be taking care of the river in the future. By having them go through this program with the zoo and TIC, they're seeing the importance of this. And hopefully as they walk through the park one day and see somebody maybe throwing a tin can or something down, they'll be able to say, hey, this is my river. Hey, I've got my trouter living in here. So hopefully they get a little ownership of this very valuable resource.
The efforts of the students are already being seen, as it was TIC students and Conservation Discovery Corps members who planted these shrubs and trees along the bank where the old path got washed out, where the Pequannock runs along the Beardsley Zoo and Beardsley Park in Bridgeport.
So again,
Second chances then?
second chances.
I'm not. There's 2 in the cup. If you guys want to have a second chance, you could.
Okay, awesome.
Excuse me.
Sure. You got a beautiful bookie here. Look at the spotting colors.
If I'm going again.
I like the spawning color.
No, they're beautiful fish.
Such a beautiful fish.
It is a beautiful fish.
This one is beautiful.
Let's get a shot of it.
It's really big.
Oh, here you go. Lower your cup, please.
What's the spot from this?
Okay, last fish.
We just get
Let's let Greg put the last fish in. Or maybe, do you want to put the last fish in? Greg, do you want to release the last
I'm
fish?
good, thank you. Let somebody else in.
Can you hold this for me like this? There you go. Yay!
What do you get this one?
We'll be back with more Yankee Fisherman
Take a picture.
live from the FCAC Boys and Girls Golf Championships at Fairchild Wheeler Golf Course right after this.
Protection, DEEP, and
Season is fast approaching, so it's time to head over to the dock shop and get your gear in order. We're now offering bait in both Darien and our Westport location. The dock shop can service and repair your rods and reels, spool up new line, and fill any empty space you might have in your tackle box. Whether you're a fisherman, boater, or beach bum, the dock shop is a unique place to shop. The dock shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport, dockshop.com.
Family and Children's Aid has been serving the community since 1809 and is now the largest outpatient children's mental health care provider in Western Connecticut. Our innovative services include providing shelter to homeless moms and children, substance abuse intervention, mental health counseling, and foster and adoptive services, among others. Our goal is to provide individuals and families a safe haven and hope for a brighter future. Find out more about us at fcaweb.org and call our Danbury campus at 203-748-5689.
Pizza to satisfy even the most demanding critics. Wilton Pizza.
You don't have to go far for authentic Neapolitan cuisine and renowned wood-fire pizza. Pizzeria Loretano of Bethel is a contemporary Italian bistro, specializing in authentic wood-fired brick-oven pizza Napolitana. Pizzeria Loretano was named one of America's top 1,000 Italian restaurants in 2008 by Zagat, and recommended by Jane and Michael Stern on National Public Radio's Splendid Table. Located close to the Bethel Cinema, we focus on quality, and our food is always made to order. Join us for live jazz Sundays from 6 to 8. Find our schedule, menu, and more at pizzerialoretano.com, and like us on Facebook.
At InSports Trumbull, the game is always on inside. Sign-ups are now open for one of our most popular programs, the New England 80 Elite Lacrosse Division I and Division III showcases. With D1 and D3 coaches in attendance, players will receive a 60-minute webinar with Director of Recruiting Hans Hansen, a custom NE80 penny, custom shorts, and a video of all games. Last year's event sold out quickly, so sign up now for the next showcase coming in January 2018. Like and follow us on Facebook.
Welcome back to Yankee Fisherman, presented by the Dock Shop. This Thursday, June 1st, coming to you live from the Fairchild Wheeler Golf Course in the Bridgeport Fairfield line. We'll be back with more live coverage of the golf as soon as we wrap up Yankee Fisherman. Frank Granito, Kevin Coleman will be giving you all the action. I'll be chipping in from time to time. The girls' tournament just wrapping up now, and not that long ago we did a segment on the Fancy Fluke Fishing Company, which is trying to give women a way into the sport of fishing, to support them, to nurture that. It's a group of women who are all fantastic anglers in their own right. They do a tremendous job. They've got some events coming up to try to get more women involved. They have a charter, the inaugural Fancy Fluke Women's Charter. That's on June 15th. June 24th, Fancy Fluke Fishing Tournament. We'll have more on those events coming up. But let's take a look back at when we talked to Stephanie Ortiz about Fancy Fluke, who they are, and what they're doing. We are in Southport with Stephanie Ortiz. Stephanie has established the Fancy Fluke Fishing Company, the Facebook page Fish Like a Girl CT. A lot of things going on to get women, younger women, involved in fishing. Tell us how this whole concept came about.
The Fancy Fluke Fishing Company was actually a fluke, believe it or not. I had started the whole idea a couple months ago. Probably around June, I had rigged up some fluke rigs for myself, And we did a fishing trip to Block Island, and it ended up being a slammer. We limited out in under 2 hours, all fluke between 20 to 29 inches. I caught my personal best, and it was kind of a moment, like a whoa moment. I was catching fish on my rigs that I made myself, using the knowledge that I researched and that I learned myself, and I was getting big ones, and I knew that I had what it takes basically to stand up in Block Island. I mean, this is a legendary fishing location, so if I'm pulling in keepers, beating the fleet with my own rigs, I knew it was something special, and I knew it would get me into the door in the Connecticut fishing community.
And it has, and they're really a good-looking rig. I've seen them online. How'd the whole process of creating them unfold?
Basically by buying a lot of rigs that I didn't like. Over time, you know, I looked at different designs, I looked at things that worked well, what didn't work well, colors. Doing research, especially in Rhode Island, fishing in Rhode Island, research on what kind of bait they were using, what kind of teasers, basically anything in general. And what I came up with is the pretty standard design that we have, which is a squid style rig. And they work great with basically any bait that you have, but especially fluke belly, peanut bunker, and squid.
And where can we get these?
So right now, the Fancy Fluke Fishing Co. line of fluke rigs is available online, but also in stores at Fisherman's Paradise in Milford, at Animal Artisans in Stratford, and Diane's Bait Tackle and Charters in New London, Connecticut.
And are you looking for other places to carry them?
Always looking for other places to carry them. However, I have this philosophy of exclusivity. We are a women's fishing company, so I try to incorporate different ideas from the fashion industry, basically from industries that cater towards women. So exclusivity is key, and shop placement is key. So I'm also looking for different shops, basically to cover my area from New London down to the Stamford area. But like I said, exclusivity is key. You won't see the Fancy Fluke in every tackle shop. I also look for shop owners that understand my vision. For example, Diane Womack from Diane's Bait Tackle and Charters has been absolutely amazing at helping me promote my product. Same thing with Animal Artisans. We've done a great job simultaneously promoting their animal charity as well as our Women in Fishing project. And the same thing with Fisherman's Paradise. They had moved their location to the Milford area, very close to the Stratford area, and we just met up and did really great things together. So I'm so grateful for those connections, but also meeting people that understand and see the need for women's empowerment in the fishing community.
And you go to the website, which is thefancyfluke.com.
Yes.
And you click on About Us and the team, and it's all women, all young women, and they all are showing that they can get it done fishing. You're all holding big fish in that. Tell us how you all came together.
I mean, hands down, every woman on the site is a powerhouse. You know, I hate to admit it, but a lot of what we have on the Fancy Fluke came about through social media. You know, as much time as I'd like to spend in nature, fishing and hunting, I'm also on the computer, on the cell phone, and was in a lot of Connecticut-based groups on Facebook. And I watched the women on there and what they were posting and how they were posting, and I followed a lot of them just to see the content and what way they were putting themselves out there as anglers. So basically, over a 3-month period, what I did was select the women that, in my opinion, I felt were real. You know, real, there's no other way to put it. These were women that I knew could bait their own hooks, that I knew how to follow the weather and the wind and the waves and the tides. And these women stood out to me as exceptional anglers, and following up on that intuitive lead, you know, I was correct. Every single woman is absolutely amazing. We have Kim Granite with us, who is a first mate on the Pelagic Beast out of Norwalk, Connecticut. I've had the pleasure of fishing with her many, many times, and she is just a stand-up woman. She's a mother of 2, and she knows how to fish. So what really can you say about that? Stephanie Griffith, also amazing. She is the captain of the Middlebank 2 out of Bridgeport, Connecticut. She has 3 young boys that she raised on her back while working on the boat. I mean, each woman in and of herself has an amazing story. Lauren Salvioli, she is a marine biology student. She works on the Spirit of the Sound right out of Norwalk, Connecticut, and she is a top-notch angler. I've never seen that girl with a small bass or a small bluefish, period, and I'm sure any of you that are active on social media know that she's kind of synonymous with big fish. Nikki Weber is amazing as well. She's a fisherman, but she also is a athletic trainer, so she puts information out there as far as, this is a sport, so it's important to keep your body in the right condition. I've hurt my back many a time reeling in a huge fish, and sometimes the little effort to work out and build that strength is really necessary. And I think the last member that we have to round out the team is Jennifer Zoop, and she is phenomenal. She is a top-notch hunter and a top-notch angler, and I believe as far as 2015, she holds 2 state records for saltwater fishing. So, like I said, the team of girls that I have are real anglers. You won't see them posing in bikinis, you won't see fish bras, you won't see any stuff like that, but you'll see women fishing and making a living from the ocean.
And an important vision for women to see, because there is so much of that other stuff out there on the web that's really not promoting fishing and not furthering the cause of women becoming anglers and enjoying the sport.
I mean, these women that you see, they're models, and modeling has its place in our society, and we get it. If modeling with a fish is going to make it more attractive to people, is going to draw people into fishing, I understand that, but we're not in Florida, we're in New England, and we have that attitude, and all of these women are New Englanders. We know what it's like to fish when it's cold, when it's warm, in all weathers, when you're getting covered in water and waves. And that's a little bit different than what you see from the southern angling community or the Florida angling community. And that's a big part I want to highlight in the Fancy Fluke, is that we are New Englanders and we have a very different perspective on things. We're hardy women.
One of the things that caught me looking at the fancyfluke.com was how new you are to angling. That you were a boater, you were restoring boats, working with your father.
Yes.
And yet angling is really very new to you.
Yeah, that's very, very true. I'm pretty new to angling, but it's kind of an interesting story if you follow the flow chart. I'm 28 years old now, and I had been living outside of the United States from about 19 to 22, and I had many great experiences. I backpacked the Andes, traveled all through South America, all these crazy, awesome experiences. But then when I came back to the States in 2010, I just kind of fell into this boredom. Everything was just working, going to work, coming home, living in Fairfield County, the grind. It was just a total drag. And then I went fishing. And that first fishing trip made a huge impact. For some reason, somehow, whatever moment it was, I felt alive again. All of the things that I was missing from my travels, from my youth, that passion, it came back to me. It came back to me through fishing, and it came back to me through hunting. So all of these things kind of culminated in me and really just got my head on straight. And I can't picture a life without it. I've always gone against the grain. I've always ignored every formula my parents or teachers gave to me throughout my life. But something about getting the line wet. You're joining in this sacred, this ancient part of humanity. Mankind has survived through hunting and fishing throughout the years. So doing this, taking part of this, you're just becoming part of that natural process. And that was very empowering to me, and it was very spiritual, but it was also very fun. And I got to do that myself and share it with my friends and my close friends and my family. And like everyone knows, you can't do anything alone. You need power behind you, you need strength behind you. So connecting with these other women gave me the strength I needed to push this forward.
Where do you see the Fancy Fluke going?
The big thing about the Fancy Fluke is that I'm not about the rigs. The rigs are there, the rigs for sale online, the rigs are for sale in shops. But in reality, and in my opinion, anyone can make a fluke rig. It's not that difficult. Learn how to snell, learn how to tie some knots, you can make a fluke rig. So the idea is that we're more than just a pretty rig. Ideally, what I'd like to see for the Fancy Fluke is women's only tournaments, to have women's charters where we take women on the water from experienced to inexperienced, teaching clinics, mother-daughter, father-daughter tournaments. We have a tournament set for next summer on July 25th in New London, Connecticut, and that's a women's only fluke tournament. So things like that. Basically anything we can do to get more women into the sport, as well as creating a community. The fancyfluke.com, we put up fishing reports almost every week. We put up pictures, we put up stories on each team member. So we try to put out information that's inspiring, that's informative, and that will show women that, between you and fishing, there are very little steps. It's just a matter of, doing it and knowing that you have resources out there, especially in the state of Connecticut. We're a small state. Everyone pretty much knows each other. If you want to get on the water, if you want to learn to fish, if it's your dream to do some of this stuff, we are women here at the Fancy Fluke that are saying, hey, we can teach you, we can show you, we're available. But at the same time, this is a sport that's open to everyone, and it's equal.
And the rain has begun to fall here at D. Fairchild Wheeler Golf Course in Fairfield, right at the Bridgeport line. We are here on the HAN network for Yankee Fisherman, and we will soon rejoin our coverage of the FCAC boys and girls golf finals. They're out there in the rain, still plugging through it. We're going to come back, put a wrap on this week's Yankee Fisherman, and then we'll turn it back over to Frank Granito and Kevin Coleman as the girls finish up and the boys make the turn. Stay tuned for more Yankee Fishermen and more FCAC Boys and Girls Golf Championships right after this. The new fishing season is fast approaching, so it's time to head over to the dock shop and get your gear in order. We're now offering bait in both Darien and our Westport location. The dock shop can service and repair your rods and reels, spool up new line, and fill any empty space you might have in your tackle box. Whether you're a fisherman, boater, or beach bum, the dock shop is a unique place to shop. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport, dockshop.com.
UK Gourmet is the largest specialty grocer in the area, featuring food from England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. Over 80 teas to choose from and a brilliant assortment of biscuits to go with them. Over 70 cheeses from grass-fed cows, which makes a smashing difference in taste. The creamiest chocolate you'll ever taste using no artificial colors or preservatives. So say hooray for UK Gourmet, 78 Stony Hill Road in Bethel, or visit ukgourmet.us.
If you've ever thought about owning a motor coach or learning about what it's like to travel the open road in superior style and comfort, then contact Dave's RV Center in Danbury, Connecticut. Offering the best quality Class A motorhomes from Newmar, travel trailers and fifth wheel lines from Surveyor, and a toy hauler line from Work and Play. Choose from Newmar's Gas Line, Baystar and Canyon Star, or from Newmar's Diesel Line, Ventana and Dutch Star. And with unparalleled service and maintenance, Dave's RV is committed to keeping you and your motor coach safely on the road and enjoying it to the fullest. Stop by their showroom, 2 Industrial Plaza Road, Danbury, Connecticut, or call 877-483-3866.
Want a new experience in car buying? Skep Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram with one of the largest inventories of new 2- and 4-door Wranglers. We are Connecticut's Wrangler headquarters. Come visit our new Ram Truck Center. Browse our websites, skepchryslerjeep.com or skepdodge.net to find the new Jeep, Chrysler Dodge car, minivan, or Ram truck you've been looking for. Just 2 miles from both I-95 or the Merritt Parkway exit 44. Save thousands right now during the Drive and Discover event. Now through June 30th.
Have a sports injury or a slip and fall that needs immediate care? Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care gives you direct access to an orthopedic specialist fast, without an appointment. Biking, golf, tennis, soccer, whatever the sports injury is, sprain or fracture, Coastal Ortho Express can help. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care open Monday through Saturday, now at 3 locations: 131 Kings Highway North in Westport, the iPark building at 761 Main Avenue, Norwalk, and 36 Old Kings Highway South in Darien. Or go to coastalorthoexpress.com, like them on Facebook.
I'm Tracy Masella, a licensed clinical social worker at Silver Hill Hospital in New Canaan. Join me each month as we talk with experts on the front lines of the treatment of mental health and addiction. Straight Talk with Tracy, a Silver Hill Hospital production, airs at 12 p.m. on the second Thursday of each month here on the HAN network.
Welcome back to Yankee Fisherman from the D. Fairchild Wheeler Golf Course in Fairfield. The FCAC Boys and Girls Golf Championship. Sun coming back out as if on cue. And a major upset, I'm not going to give too much away, possibly brewing on the girls' side. With that, we are going to put a wrap on Yankee Fisherman. From Fairchild Wheeler, we're going to turn it back over to Frank Granito and Kevin Coleman. They're going to bring you the rest of the action as the girls and boys finish up. We'll be back next week. Till then, fairways and greens.